there, alligator. Are you here to gnaw on information and attack misconceptions? Then you've come to the right place. So I'm Allie Marie, and this is My Catholic Perspective. To join the alligators, all you have to do is subscribe and then share the video that compelled you to subscribe to Facebook or Twitter using the hashtag alligators. Today is Musical Monday, so I have 5 new songs picked out that I made parodies of with the help of Black and Blue 10, aka Tony. He won the guessing game last week and chose the genre of 80s music for this week's video. So let's see if you can get all 5 this week. Today's topic comes from Patrick Perkins. And Shoeless Joe and I have had conversations about this as well. Is smoking marijuana a sin? I myself smoked pot through college and would even go to the extent to say that I was a pothead. I hadn't smoked as much as a cigarette by the time I had turned 18, and I was really proud of that fact. But then I dated somebody who smoked cigarettes and marijuana and drank, and having this new availability, I was curious. At this time too, I wasn't very grounded in my faith. I didn't live with many convictions and pretty much did whatever I wanted. I wish I could go back and change it, but hey, it's what got me here today. So if you have never smoked before, I hope that you can learn from my experience and these pointers that I'm about to go through. And if you currently smoke, whether recreationally or every day, maybe this will help you to reconsider whether or not that's aiding your relationship with God. So number 1, understanding that sin is in and of itself something that comes between us and God is the first thing that we have to examine when asking if smoking marijuana is actually a sin. Is it pulling us away from God's love for us? The Catechism gives us a piece of this answer. In paragraph 2291, it states, "The use of drugs inflicts very grave damage on human health and life. Their use, except on strictly therapeutic grounds, is a grave offense. Clandestine production of and trafficking in drugs are scandalous practices. They constitute direct cooperation in evil, since they encourage people to practices gravely contrary to the moral law. Marijuana induces an altered state of mind, making it a drug. There are medicinal uses for marijuana, and if there is a legitimate need for medical marijuana, it would be considered an okay thing, as long as it's temporary. We wouldn't want to be on Vicodin or Norco for any extended period of time. After my brain surgery, it was medically necessary that I was on Percocet for the following month. Different types of marijuana can affect different ailments, but to turn to it for long-term relief is not something that would be considered biblical or good for our bodies. If it's illegal in your state, it would be hands down a sin to participate in the consumption of marijuana. But before I explain why, just remember, the government is there to keep us in line. They focus on what's best to decrease all the crime. Backpacking off of if it's illegal in your state, it's illegal to consume, how would you be getting your hands on marijuana? It would be through some type of drug dealer, right? Well, according to the paragraph we just read in the Catechism, trafficking drugs is a grave offense. So by purchasing drugs from somebody who's selling them, you are enabling them to be able to sell the drugs more. Even in states where medicinal marijuana is legal, you can still obtain medical marijuana illegally. So just paying attention to what the laws are is very important. But within that too, having an ongoing relationship with somebody who's selling marijuana also opens the door to the possibility that they could be meddling in other drugs. Not every pot dealer does this, but in college I had about 7 different people I would buy from, and I would say about 5 of them dabbled in other drugs. Because of this, I had access to shrooms. I tried meth once, not something I'm proud of, but a fact. I had access to acid, but thank goodness never did it because I did my research prior to consuming that chemical drug. If you've ever struggled with depression, it can actually put you in what they call a perma trip, where you are permanently that way for the rest of your life. Why risk it? Weed's a gateway drug. Weed's a gateway drug. Third, within all of that, our bodies are a temple of the Holy Spirit, and we are called to take care of and nourish our bodies to every degree that we know how. If you wouldn't smoke a cigarette or think cigarettes are disgusting, why would we want to fill our lungs with something else? Consistent marijuana use studies are still in the works. We don't quite understand the long-term effects of what marijuana can do to our bodies. For all I know, that's how I got the brain tumor I had. That paragraph 2291 in the Catechism is actually underneath a subsection called Respect for Health. Life and physical health are precious gifts from God that we are called to look after and take care of. There are mixed studies on everything. What should we eat? What should we drink? What vitamins should I take? But drawing the conclusion that something that people call the devil's grass is not healthy for us, I think is an okay conclusion to draw. I wouldn't doubt that in the next 10 to 15, 20 years, some serious studies are going to start coming forward of the negative effects that marijuana has on our brains, lungs, and body as a whole. Another one of those situations of, why risk it? Effects of THC are a mystery. Fourth, the Bible doesn't explicitly state that we cannot smoke marijuana, but it does talk about drunkenness and consuming alcohol in excess. Marijuana is no different. However, it produces an altered state of being that is different than being drunk. No one says, I'm gonna go to the bar to drink some alcohol to get high. I honestly don't even know where that term actually came from, other than when you smoke, it's like your head is in the clouds. You lose the ability to reason. For me, when I smoke marijuana, I have some pretty negative effects. When I first started smoking, how I felt when I would smoke is very different than how I feel if I were to smoke now. I've spoken to other people too who have had similar effects, that after long-term smoking, they actually get depressive and suicidal thoughts while high. I don't know about you, but if sin is anything that comes between me and God's love for me, that's at the top of the list. The lowering of inhibitions is also very accurate with smoking. I'm currently having a flashback of a time that I smoked at a house and left shortly after, pulled out onto the first main road, and almost got in a major car accident. If we knowingly choose to participate in something that gives us that altered state, that our inhibitions may be lowered, we are still held responsible for the choices we make under that influence. Hanging out with other people while they're smoking as well, you can get what's called a contact high. The THC that's in marijuana lingers in the smoke. Just like secondhand cigarette smoke is not good, secondhand marijuana smoke can still cause an effect, even if you don't directly inhale it from whatever means they are smoking. Just a single hit can take away the Holy Spirit. The smell alone can make you feel like you just don't care. Fifth, we are called to be a slave to the Spirit and not a slave to sin. When somebody smokes marijuana, it affects in the brain your limbic system. Suddenly somebody just wants to relax, chill out, watch TV, play a video game. Laziness, aka sloth. They might crave sugar or Taco Bell or some other form of fast food and overindulge in whatever it is that they choose to consume. Overeating, aka gluttony. The overall purpose of drugs is to escape the world. When I was trying to quit smoking and couldn't, I did a lot of introspection and discovered that I was smoking for freedom. Little did I know, I was the least free I could ever be. I even made friends with all of my pieces. I had a dinosaur bowl I named Oscar, a fish bubbler I named Gunther. My attachment to these inanimate objects is just bizarre to me to look back on. So even if it is legal in your state, just because you can smoke marijuana doesn't mean you should. Smoking pot puts you in mortal sin. You'd have to go to confession. So if you or or somebody that you know is struggling in this hole, please feel free to message me directly or send them my way. I'm willing and able to help in any way that I can with my personal experiences. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Our past vices stick with us. So this is something that I still actively get tempted with from time to time and have to turn to my husband for support and remember those commitments that I've made to myself and others. It's been a while since I've smoked now. I think that the last time I had was when I did that I Have a Confession video. I'm thankful for the Lord's grace to be able to maintain sobriety in that aspect of my life and look forward to see how He wills to use my troubled past to help influence a future of purity within anybody who views what I have to say. So God bless you. Thanks for tuning in. Tony, thank you so much for helping me today. It was really fun to message and get to know you a little bit with the dialogue. And I hope you enjoyed all the songs. Patrick, thanks for the topic. It's an important one. So who will be next? Until next time, we'll see you later, alligator.